Lancashire Railway is a volunteer-fuelled organisation dedicated to preserving the British railway heritage and experience. Based at Bolton Street Station in Bury, the devoted men and women work to keep these old trains on the tracks. From steam to diesel, they keep them running. Interested to know what made so many people volunteer for the ELR, we spent some time with them to see the kind of work they were doing. We later spoke to 3 other members of the railway at Bolton Street Station. We asked each of them several questions, including what got them started on the railway, as well as any funny anecdotes they could share.
Well, probably the main thing for me was I've always been into railways ever since I was a child, really. It's always been something I've always wanted to do. My dad really got me into railways, I think, was the main thing. But ever since I was a young child, Thomas the Tank got me started, and yeah, it's always been something I've wanted to do. Yep.
No, I know somebody who does.
Well, I spent a lot of time with my grandfather as a child, and he built 3.5 gauge, and he used to run them at Worden Park in Leyland, so I've just carried on from there. I left steam alone when I was 12 and then decided to get back into it in 2013, and that's where it started.
Back in 2008, we brought my stepdad for a day out on the train. They were looking for volunteers, and I thought, oh, you know what, I'll give it a go. They were saying they wanted steam engines over like maintenance stuff, and being a mechanic at the time, I thought something to look into. So I turned up, and I've never looked back. Really got a chance to go on the footplate, and yeah.
We have a laugh all the time, but one of the funniest, I think, was firing the Black 5, and the valves were above my head and a little stiff, and being short I couldn't reach, so I used a hand brush which promptly snapped, and quickly disposed of the evidence in the firebox before the driver even clocked it.
There's been a few funny moments, but off the top of my head I think was when we were filling the engine up one day with water, and the pipe was still pressurised, and I thought, well, I'll see which other person wants to do that, and Wayne Appleby happened to be the man nearby, so without thinking about it, he pulled the pipe off and he got drowned from absolute head to toe.
One of my funniest moments was definitely running out of steam on one particular locomotive on a rather embarrassing turn, but we all laugh about it now, so it's quite high on the banter with all our friends here.
Joanne Crompton recently took on a paid position within the ELR after years of volunteering there. We asked her for an insight into how things have changed for her since doing so.
Yes, massive impact. I've had the opportunity to see the other side of the machine, as it were, and it's made me have an even more greater appreciation of the work volunteers do, because the railway runs on volunteers, and without them there would be no railway.
Having spent a couple of days with the volunteers, it was clear that their enthusiasm for what they do was infectious. Everybody spoken to was passionate about the engines, and you couldn't help but feel some sort of admiration for what they do.
Absolutely life-changing, life-changing. It's the skills I've learnt from being here, you can use in everyday life. It's taught me a lot, and it's probably one of the best experiences of my life.
Proper one, 53. really nice. It would have stood out.
That's nice, that's nice.
Flashy bits on it. Excellent, that's all.